get working on the webinar is that you can ask questions through the question box on your GoToWebinar control panel. You may need to hit the orange arrow to expand the control panel and see the questions area. And we're going to have about 40 to 45 minutes of presentation with a question and answer section at the end. So we'll go ahead and try to hit the questions that you've got as they come through, and then if we have time at the end, we'll also answer additional questions if you have any after the webinar is complete. So today we have Sheila and Karen from the Client Services Department who will be presenting information on how to use your account most effectively. So we are going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to go ahead and pass this over here to Karen, who is going to go over the advanced search options and how best to target your search and best practices to use the site.
All right, thanks, Jess. Good day, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well today. This slide here, the first slide that we're looking at, is just the basic information about the advanced search, a great way to search the site and refine your search. So Jess, if we could go to the live site, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and take a look at the advanced search and kind of go over the information that's listed on that first slide. So to get to the advanced search, Jess, I'm a step behind you. If you, Jess, could go to your My FlexJobs home, you can find that in the control panel. This is the first page that you will log on to when you come to the site. So you'll see your message inbox, new jobs of interest over on the left. From the right-hand side, you'll see the control panel. The search for jobs is the next orange bar down, and then the related job search options is the third orange bar. That will let you, give you different ways to search through the site, and that's where you'll find the advanced search. So Jess, you can go ahead and click there. Thank you. All right, now here are the options that you can choose for the advanced search. So we'll just kind of walk through these, run a couple of searches, and I'll go over some information with you. The first thing I want to point out on this page is in the upper right of each selection box, there's the blue tip box. So Jess, if you want to put your cursor over that, yep. So if you put your cursor over that blue tip box, for each box there'll be some tips. If you forget or you just want, some additional information. You'll find that blue tip box in different areas of the site, so you can either click it. It's very useful as a reminder. And so the first box that you can fill out here is the keyword search. You can use this search if you're searching for specific terms. And one thing that you want to remember in here is our system will look for the exact word that you type in. So you want to try variations of words. An example would be blogging. If you want to, do blogging, and then just if you click search on the bottom, we'll be taken here to the search results page, and you'll see job search results, one of 50 of 393 different jobs. So that's just based on that word, blogging. So just if you go back to the advanced search, and if you type in blogger, so you want to be a blogger, and then you run your search, you'll see 1 to 37 jobs. So big difference in the number of results you'll be getting on that advanced search. So that's just something to keep in mind, playing around with those keywords. The next box over is excluding words. And this can be very helpful if you know you're not going to be searching for something specific. And I think a good example for this is if you're in the nursing profession, but you don't want to be, you're nursing and you may be an LPN rather than an RN. So you can put exclude words, you can put RN, and then search. So we'll look for nursing jobs where you don't need that RN. And you can apply that to different industries as well. If there's different, subcategories that you don't want to search for, you can put that in the exclude words box. And then we'll just I'll run through each of these additional boxes, and I'll explain them, and then we'll run a couple of searches and go into some more information. The location, it's good to put this, you can enter your city and state, your zip code, and even if you're wanting to work from home and you're wanting, jobs all over the country, still put in your location, because our system will look if there's anything available in your area as well as anywhere in the U.S., or there even are some jobs that can be done from anywhere in the world. So you definitely want to fill that out. The next box is the international box, and that's for our international job seekers who use our site, so you can actually select a different country. If you were in a different country, you can do that. From there, you can also select the anywhere jobs that can be done from anywhere in the world. Next box down to the left is the job type box. So here you'll see employee, freelance, volunteer, internships, temporary. There can be some confusion between an employee and a freelance job. Just a quick explanation of that. Employee, you're an actual employee of the company. They're taking care of your taxes. They may offer benefits, where a freelance employee, a freelance worker is generally working as an independent contractor. You're taking care of your own taxes, generally no benefits, and you should have a home office set up because you're most likely going to be working out of your own office space. The volunteer and internships, temporary, those are all pretty self-explanatory, so you can select one of those from there if you'd like to. The next box is the work schedule. So here is where you can filter these. Full-time, part-time, pretty self-explanatory. Flexible schedule, that could be where you're setting your own schedule. Maybe it's not a straight 9 to 5. It may be flexible throughout the week. Alternative schedule would be nights and weekends. Occasional, you'll see some employers who want someone, basically that's an as-need basis. So they'll call you in as needed, maybe if their regular employees are out sick or maybe on vacation. Seasonal, which we would be coming up into, especially this time of year, companies looking for extra work during the holidays. And those can happen throughout different periods of the year, so it's not just over the holidays. And then there's also long-term and short-term schedules that you can select. And then the next box down to the left is the career level. You can select entry-level, experienced, manager, or executive. And these are good to play around with as well, because you'll certainly get different results with those. Next box over to the right is the telecommuting level. This is a box that a lot of our job seekers use. There's just the different options there. There can be a misconception if you're telecommuting that a job is always going to be completely out of your home. Some companies do allow you to work the 100% from home. Some companies, however, want you in the office sometimes as well. So you may be in the office and at your home, still telecommuting to different levels. So you can select, if you know you just want to be out of your home, that 100% telecommuting level is what you want to select. And then on the lower left, you'll see our job categories. You can select as many of these categories for your search as you'd like to. So anywhere from 1 to 10, you just keep clicking on that box and adding. If it's an extensive list, so I would recommend going to the job categories first to select that, to see if your profession or what you're looking for is an actual job category. Very important. And then if you want to get rid of any of those, you can click that little X, as Jess is doing. And then the next box over is the travel box. Some people definitely know they do not want any travel, or yes they do, or you could be open. That's where you can select what your preference is. And then the final box on the lower right after the travel is our featured and award-winning employers. A featured company are those employers who come to us directly and post their jobs on our site. They've been approved by us as a company. They can not only post their jobs to our site, but they can search through our candidates and contact them if they're interested. So that's what the featured companies are. The award-winning employers have won recognition as an accomplished company, and you can see the list there. There's different things you can choose, like Forbes 100, Fortune 500, anything through there you can select if you know particularly you want to see a company with an award-winning, status that they have. So that being said, going through those boxes, when you begin the search, what we recommend is filling out 3 boxes and then going from there. So what we recommend when you first get to this advanced search is to fill out your U.S. location. So Jess, let's put in a location there. All right. And then we recommend your telecommuting level. We'll put that as 100%. And then a few or as many job categories as you want. And Jess, if you just want to pick a job category. And then you can select search for jobs. Now when you get to this job results page, the first thing I want to point out to you is right at the upper left of the job search results. It says jobs listings, and there's that little I in the circle. If you click on that, Jess, this brings up the icon guide. So each job has a symbol next to it, and this little I, you can always click on there if you forget what the symbols next to the jobs mean. There's a reference for you there. And you'll see at the bottom of this page the FlexJobs logos, or excuse me, the bottom of the icon list. You'll see that FJ logo. That's an original job posting posted on our site. And those are the companies, those are our featured companies. So you'll know what that means as well. All right, so on this page, you'll see from those 3 fields that we filled out, location, telecommuting level, and job categories. If you want to scroll up towards the top of the page, Jess, on the right-hand side here, you'll see the blue bar that says Search for Jobs. And as you go through that right-hand side of the page, you can filter out the jobs from here as well. So if you know you just want the employee jobs, it shows there's 57, you can click on Employee. And it'll filter out the jobs that aren't the employee jobs. And if you want to remove that, you can just go to the top of the list there where it says Job Type, and then click Remove, right next to where it says Employee, at the very top. There you go. So this is just another way to filter down your results without going back to the advanced search. You can certainly go back to the advanced search, but just be aware that you can use the right-hand side of the site here too. If you want to save this search, you'll see the orange box right there in the upper right. If you click Save This Search, Jess, and you can use this so you don't have, if you know you're going to run a search every time you log on to the site, you can save it. And then, Jess, if you go to My FlexJobs home, here we are on our home page again. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll see where it says Job Search Activity. This is where your saved searches and saved jobs as well will be listed. So you just click on the Saved Search tab, and the most recent search is there on the very top. So each time you come back to the site, you can just go to the Saved Searches and click that blue link there, and it will run the search for you. So that's just a little tidbit about how you can save those searches. And definitely play around with the advanced search. The results should change every day because we add new jobs every day, but it's really, you can add more information in there, or you can, kind of scale it back a little bit. You'll definitely see more results. And Jess, I think we're ready to go back to the PowerPoint. Good. And again, this slide here is just everything that we just went through, all of the different fields in the advanced search. And again, just some basic tips for the advanced search. More is not always better. If you fill out every single field within the advanced search, you might not get any results. It's just too too much information. So more is not always better. And again, try variations on the keywords. Our system's gonna search for exactly what you put in there. And again, just the helpful reminder, those 3 that we recommend: your location, your telecommuting level, and your categories. That'll be broad enough so you get enough results, and then you can limit it from there on that right-hand side of the page. So that is all I have now for the advanced search, and I will be passing it off to Sheila, who's going to review the resume profile section of the site.
Thanks, Karen, and thanks for the information about the advanced search. Another important part of our website is setting up your resume profile. And I'm going to go ahead and go through a few slides here, and then we'll go to the actual site to create a profile. So purposes for the resume profile, first is to help automate your job search. Based on the information that you've entered in your resume profile, our system will send you emails of jobs daily that match the information that you've entered. And that's what we call the new jobs of interest. Second, you can also apply for jobs with FlexJobs featured employers using your profile information. And you're also able to create a resume if you don't already have one. And you'll be able to download a copy of that you can use when applying for jobs. Okay, if you want to go to the next slide there. So we have 2 types of employers on FlexJobs. The first type of employer is going to be the featured employer, and Karen talked about that briefly. These are companies that have come to FlexJobs to post jobs. They've actually been screened and approved by our staff to be able to do that. They do, again, post their jobs to our website, and you are able to use your profile to apply for those jobs. These employers are also ones that are able to browse our job seekers' resume profiles so that they can select potential candidates. So that's going to be our featured employers, and they also have that logo, the FlexJobs logo there as well. The other thing about the featured employers is their titles, their job titles are going to be in orange. So when you see the orange title, that's going to be a FlexJobs featured employer. Their apply button is going to be a little different too. It will just say apply for this job, and it will take you right to your profile so that you can attach your profile to your application. The second type of employer that we have are the external employers. And these are positions that our job researchers actually locate. We have job researchers that their job every day is to go out and find legitimate professional jobs that they can post to our website. So those jobs, again, are screened and approved prior to being posted on the website. The external employers are not actually able to add jobs to our website, and they also cannot search the resume profiles. And typically when you're applying for an external employer position, you're going to be directed back to their website. All right, so let's go ahead and go over to the live site, and we will get started on creating a resume profile. There are a few different ways that you can get to your resume profile. When you first log into our site, you're going to be on this page here, and that's what we call your My FlexJobs homepage. So one thing that you can do is over in the top right corner where you see your name, you can click that drop down and then click on My Resume Profiles. That's going to bring you to the My Resume Profile section. And if you scroll back up to the top of this, you can obviously scroll down. So that's kind of a quick way to get to the My Resume Profile section when you're on your home page. And then the third way to do that is actually to go over on the right under the control panel here and click Resume Profiles. And in this case, we don't already have a resume profile. We're going to be creating a new one. If you had already created one, you'll see the title of that resume there. So we're going to go ahead and get started at creating our new profile. So if you just want to click on Create a New Profile. All right, so you're going to start out on this page, and the first thing that I'd like to point out is there is a blue box at the top indicating the information that is needed in order to complete your profile. So sometimes you'll see that your profile is incomplete. If you ever see that, you're going to go back to this page, and then the blue box, it's going to indicate what's missing. The other thing that I'd like to point out, the same as using the advanced search page, we also have tips boxes in the top right corner of each of the fields, so that if you're stuck on what you need to enter there, you can always click on the tips box for information on what should be entered there. And then, of course, always as you're going through your profile, remember to check your spelling and grammar. All right, so there's actually a few different tabs there. We're going to go ahead and start out with the About Me tab. And the first thing that you're going to enter here is going to be your profile title. So you'll just go ahead and click Edit Title, and then you'll enter a descriptive sentence about yourself. So try to be unique. And again, if you have any questions about what to enter there, always go ahead and click on that tips box. Once you're happy with your title, go ahead and make sure you save that. And then now at the top, rather than it saying initial profile, you're going to see where it has your title, the experience writing. All right, and then the next box down is going to be your contact information. And here's where you're going to enter any information that you're comfortable with sharing. You will want to have your contact information included here so that a potential employer is able to contact you. You can also enter a link here. So for instance, if you wanted to put your LinkedIn profile here, you can do that. If you happen to have a professional blog, you can include the link to that blog here as well. It's also important here to be sure that you enter your city, state, and your zip code, because again, the system is going to be pulling jobs that match the information you've put in your profile. So if you don't enter your city and state and zip code, you're going to end up getting jobs in New York when really you want jobs that can be done from Denver. So once you've entered your contact information, you'll again make sure that you click Save. And then the next box down is for a picture. Now, including a picture is a great way to personalize your resume. It isn't required, but if you do choose to enter or include a picture here, we recommend that you choose a professional picture of yourself. So you'll go ahead and click on Edit Picture, browse your files on your computer, and then go ahead and add your professional picture there. And then, of course, you'll want to save once you've done that. All right, so got the FlexJobs logo there for our picture. All right, the next section down is going to be about setting your profile status. And this is where you're going to choose the level of privacy that you want. So you'll go ahead and click on Edit Privacy. The first selection, the green box here, is active and public. We don't typically recommend that selection simply because that is going to be viewable to anyone basically searching the internet for you. So that is not typically recommended. The active and private in the yellow box there is the one that we usually recommend. And when you have it set to active and private, it's going to be viewable only to the employers with current approved FlexJobs accounts. So public visitors would not be able to see any part of your profile. You can also choose inactive and private. Your resume profile in that case would be hidden completely, and so employers would not be able to search your information. In this case, you would just be able to apply for the jobs that you want and not be bothered by employers contacting you. You'll only be contacted by the employers you actually applied for. So you'll go ahead and set your privacy status, and once you do that, you'll just click Save here. The next field is for your home office. So especially if you are trying to work from home, the employer would be interested in knowing what kind of setup you have in your home office. So you can enter the information about the computer system you have, the internet connection you have, if you have any other system or equipment like a printer, iPad, you can enter that there and then make sure you save that. The next box then is for your military status. So here you can identify your previous or current military status, whatever applies to you, and go ahead and click Save. And then that actually completes the About Me tab. So we'll go ahead now and move on to the My Job Search section here. And again, this is another important section to make sure is filled out because, again, the system is going to match the jobs to you based on the information that you've provided here. So the first field here is going to be your summary objective. And here is where you'll enter a paragraph or so telling employers what you want them to know about yourself and why you would be a great candidate. And this is another place where if you feel stuck on what you might want to enter, that tips box is a good thing to use because it'll give you some ideas of what you might want to enter there. So again, this can be as long or short as you want. A paragraph or two is great there. And then again, that tips box was another good point there in case you're not sure of what you should enter. All right, the next section here is for the job categories. This is important, again, because of the system pulling your information and matching jobs for you. You can choose up to 5 categories here. So if you click Edit Categories, as she did, then you'll go ahead down to the categories. In the same way it was in the advanced search, you'll go ahead and check off the categories that you're interested in here. If you happen to have more than 5 categories that you want to choose, go ahead and pick the top 5 that appeal to you, that you're interested in and skilled in. If you have more than 5, so say for instance you have a medical background and an accounting background, you may want to have more than 1 profile so that you can choose 5 categories in the medical field and then 5 categories in the accounting field. Once you've selected your categories, go ahead and save that. And then just remember that you can always come back to your profile and change these things around. So for instance, if you're not getting jobs that you feel are what you're looking for, you can always come back and edit your categories if you think that's necessary. You can always come back, uncheck them, check new ones. Again, it's limited to 5, but just make sure you save it once you do any changes. All right, the next field then is for your job details. So here, it's pretty self-explanatory, but you'll go ahead and edit your job details. And the first choice is going to be what type of job are you willing to consider. So if you know for sure that you only want to be an employee, you're not interested in freelance, temporary volunteer internship, then obviously you can just go ahead and click employee. But if you're willing to consider any of those, certainly go ahead and check all of those off. And again, you can always change it anytime you want. The schedules are also important to know what kind of schedule you're willing to consider. And again, you can pick 1, 2, 3, all of them, and then you can change it at any time. The career level here is another thing, same as the advanced search. You're going to want to choose the career level that you're interested in. We have everywhere from entry level to executive positions. If you do happen to choose executive, just keep in mind that you might be limiting the jobs that you're going to find. You might not see jobs that you're actually qualified for because you have chosen executive. So you might, again, if you've chosen executive, you're not getting the jobs that you're looking for, you can always come back and change this to a manager role or an experienced role. So you can always play around with that to see what kind of jobs come up for you. The education level is, again, pretty self-explanatory. You'll want to go ahead and put in the education you have there. The desired salary is not required. You certainly can enter some information there, but if you do, you probably want to make sure that it's commensurate with the jobs in your industry. So you don't want to overprice yourself. You want to make sure that you're in line with the jobs that are in your industry. And then you can also include any other compensation and benefits that you're looking for. So for instance, if you're looking for ice cream or health insurance, whichever it may be, you can definitely go ahead and enter your other compensation and benefits that you're looking for there. And then again, just make sure that you do go ahead and save that. All right, the next field then is going to be your job flexibility preferences. And of course, FlexJobs, you know, a lot of people are looking for flexible jobs, part-time jobs, telecommuting, freelancing. So here's where you're going to enter any of those flexibility preferences that you have there. You can again choose one or more there. If you do choose telecommuting on the next level there, you can choose what type of telecommuting you're looking for. So if you want all telecommuting, you want to work from home 100% of the time, you're going to want to make sure that you do choose all telecommuting there. If you don't care, you can put any level, but that's kind of important there, especially because a lot of people do come to our website looking for 100% work-at-home jobs. And then the travel, this is just whether you are willing to travel if necessary. And then you'll want to go ahead and click Save. The next one here is about your availability and your schedule. So here, if you are able to start right away, then you certainly could put that. If you're flexible about your start date, you can certainly enter that. So that's just where you'll enter your desired start. Also, you'll want to go ahead and make sure that you enter when you're available during the day. And again, you can pick one or more of these. And then the last, you'll go ahead and pick what type of hours you're looking for, how many hours a week you're willing to work. And then, of course, make sure that you save. All right, so that completes that section. Now we'll go ahead and move on to upload resume. So if you already have a resume, this is where you're going to upload it. And because you already have your information, your contact information entered in the About Me section, it is not necessary to include that on your resume, so we usually recommend taking that off. You'll go ahead and click on Add a Resume, and then choose the file from your computer. And then once you've chosen it, you'll go ahead and save it. And then once you save it, you'll know that it's uploaded because you'll see the current file listed there. If you need to change that for any reason, you can click on Edit Resume, and you can delete that particular resume, and obviously go ahead and upload a new one. So anytime you need to delete it or upload a new one, you can do that as well. And just remember to save it. You can also upload work samples here. So for instance, if you are a writer, you may want to upload a writing sample that you might have. If you are a software developer, you may have some code that you'd like to upload. So this would be the place that you would do that. And not everyone has work samples, and that's completely fine. This is just for people that do and would like to show what they've done in the past. And then once you upload those samples, you'll go ahead and save. And usually we recommend having probably no more than 5. This is just an example of what you can do. If you ever want to delete it, obviously there's a red delete button there too that you can delete it. And that's pretty much it for the upload resume and upload work sample. We'll go ahead now and go to the build a resume section. And this, of course, is for people that don't already have a resume. So if you've already uploaded a resume, this section you can skip. For the people that don't have a resume, you're going to want to make sure that you do go ahead and fill in all of these sections. And of course, you always want to be accurate with the information you're entering, because employers do check on that. So you want to make sure that you enter all of the accurate information. And it's best to include the work experiences that are relative to the type of work that you're interested in doing, or that highlight your skills. So you can definitely go ahead and enter as many as you want here. And then once you enter it, you'll go ahead and save it. And Jess, if you'll just enter one more here, I just want to show too that anytime you enter, you can always rearrange these too if you need to. So if you want to have them in a particular order, there's a black arrow to the left of the title where you can drag and drop them in any particular order. So if you want to switch that around, you can definitely do that. Also, over to the right, if you need to edit the information, if you noticed you put in the wrong date, you can always edit your information as well. And then, of course, remember to save. All right, so the next field then is going to be for your education. And that's pretty self-explanatory as well. You do have to enter the dates here, so that's something else important. If you're not able to save it, it might be because you haven't entered your dates there. So you do want to make sure that you do that. And then the same thing with the education as with the work experience. If you have more than one, you can always rearrange them. So if for some reason they're out of order, you can always rearrange them the same way you did with the work experience. And you can also edit it the same way that you did with the work experience. Okay, next is going to be a section for skills. So any skills that you feel are relative and marketable, you can definitely enter here. So for instance, if you have some computer skills that you'd like to highlight, for instance, programs that you're familiar with, or for instance, if you are a software developer, you might want to enter the programming languages that you're familiar with. And then you also want to choose your proficiency. So if you're an expert at that, you want to make sure that you put that in there. If you're simply basic knowledge of that, you'll want to make sure that you put that in there as well. And then again with those skills, there's a tips box there. So if you aren't really sure what skills you might have that you'd want to put there, that's another good time to click on that tips box. All right, the next field again is pretty self-explanatory. If you are multilingual, you can definitely enter the languages that you're comfortable using in a professional capacity. And again, you'll want to go ahead and choose the proficiency. So if you are fluent, then you want to make sure that you put that in there. All right. The next section then is for certifications and memberships. So if you've earned related professional certifications, or if you're a member of a professional association or group, this would be where you'd want to include those things. And then honors and awards that you've earned that you feel are relevant can also be entered here in the next section for honors and awards. And then again, always able to edit these and save changes. So anytime you want to come back and edit that, you can certainly do that. All right, so that actually completes the Build a Resume section, and we'll go ahead and move on then to My PDF. This is where you can download the PDF copy of the resume with all the information that you've just entered in the Build a Resume section. So you'll just go ahead and click on Download My PDF Resume. And then go ahead and click on the download. And this is actually what it's going to look like. So it will put together a great resume for you that you can use in other circumstances. So if you happen to have to apply for a job with an external employer, this would be something that you're able to use for that. Okay, the other thing that I do want to mention, so we have gone through everything in your My Resume profile. Down on the right here, there is help. So for instance, you start doing this over the weekend and you don't remember what we've talked about here. There is a little video that you can watch. It's a short video that will go through what we've just gone through to help you with that resume. So anytime you have any questions, you can always look through that video. Another thing that's available to our subscribers are free skills tests. You can get to those tests by where your control panel is. You just click on skills tests. And you can either take a skills test, or if you've already taken some, you can click on your results. But we'll go ahead and click on take a skills test. We have numerous skills tests that you can take. They are free. And any score that you receive above 70% will be viewable in your profile. If you get a score that you're not happy with, you can always delete it. So even if you get 75 and you're not happy with that, you think you can do better, you can still delete that test. And you're able to retake the tests every 24 hours. So that's kind of nice too, you can retake them. The other thing that I'd like to mention is, so we set up those profiles and we want to see where our new jobs of interest are. We want to go ahead and see the new jobs that the system matched with us. We'll go back to our My FlexJobs homepage, and that with the My FlexJobs home, you can get there from your control panel on the right here, or in the top left corner, you can get to your My FlexJobs home as well. And your new jobs of interest are going to be here. So after creating your profile, these are going to be the jobs that we matched up, or the system matched up for you. And if you click on all new jobs of interest down in the bottom right, that's going to show you all the jobs that come up for you. And there's a little blue box on the right there to the right of each title. If you wanted to save that job, if that looks like one that you do want to look at later and maybe apply for, you can click on the blue box there to save it. And as Karen mentioned earlier, that's going to be listed in your Save Jobs. If it's a job that you don't think you're interested in, you can always delete it by clicking that red X. Okay. And then if you want to go back again just to the My FlexJobs homepage, I did want to just, if you scroll back down to your My Resume Profile section there, this is where you're going to see the resume that you've just created. You'll know that you've completed everything because it'll show that it's active. If for some reason you haven't completed it, it will show that it's incomplete, and then again you go back to that resume profile. That blue box is going to tell you what's missing. The other thing is, if you click on View there, the first selection, you're going to be able to see what it looks like to a potential employer, so that's what they're going to see. If you have any attachments and you want to view those are going to be at the bottom. And also, if you scroll up a little bit more, the skills tests that you've taken are also going to be listed here. So that's another thing that will be included there if you've taken some skills tests. And then just going back to that resume profile one more time, or the My FlexJobs homepage, I'm sorry. This is also where you can go ahead and edit. So if you remember something that you needed to change, if you click Edit, that's going to go ahead and bring you back to your resume profile, and you can edit anything that you want to at any time. And then, of course, just make sure that you save everything. And that, I believe, is all that I have. Jess, did you have anything else that you wanted to add?
So the only other thing that I would definitely, gotten a couple questions about, if you accidentally create more than one resume profile, this is also the area that you would delete any erroneous profiles. Oftentimes people will think they're working on one profile and they're working on two. And so it's always a good kind of piece and point to really scroll down to look at the resume profile so that you can make sure that your profile is active, and if there's anything, or if you have any additional profiles, you can delete them as well. So, so that's the only other big thing that I would say immediately on the resume profiles. Again, we've had a couple of questions about if you need to fill in the build a resume area if you're attaching a resume. And our general answer on that is no. There's no reason for you to recreate the wheel. There's no advantage with employers. It's not more likely they're going to look at you or anything like that. It's simply a feature that we offer for someone who does not already have a resume. So definitely would recommend, if you've got a resume profile, just go ahead and upload it, and then don't worry about the Build a Resume tab at all. Do you want to go over how to make an additional resume profile if you were wanting to do that?
Sure, yeah. So if you did want to go ahead and add a new profile, you'll, again, just go ahead either over to Resume Profiles under the Control Panel or go back to your My FlexJobs homepage, scroll back down to your My Resume Profile, and go ahead and click on Create a New Profile. So again, this might be helpful if you have very different backgrounds, maybe medical and accounting, where it would be helpful for you to have two very different resume profiles.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, thank you very much, Sheila and Karen. That was a lot of great information as far as using the search function and using the resume profile editor to create a resume profile on the site itself. So there's just a few things that I like to go over for our members. One of the things that is really important that can be very helpful as a member to know that is available to you is the job search tips and help area. We don't have career counselors on staff, so we can't do specific matching ourselves within FlexJobs, but this is a great way to go through and see information on what is happening with job trends, some tips for successfully working from home, for example, and what we see with the flexible work initiative. So this is really where we communicate with our members what's going on. Additionally, if you ever want to look at this webinar or previous webinars, those are all located under the Job Resources tip. And so that's all located here. If you ever, if you miss a webinar or if you want to look back on webinars with career experts that we've worked with in the past, that would be a great place to look at those. So we definitely recommend, spending some time on the job search tips and help area. We also recommend, especially if you're new to the site, one of the things that's great is on the control panel we have special partner offers. And so if you're looking for things like resume evaluations, or if you're looking for something, Grammarly, which is a great editing software, these are companies that we have relationships with that can offer services to our members at a discounted rate. And so you can go through, there are a lot of subcategories and a lot of different companies that we've worked with and have relationships with that offer discounts to FlexJobs members. So if you're looking to set up your home office, we have some great relationships with these companies, and so there's a very helpful way to kind of take advantage of those offers. And so that's located on the control panel. It's the bottom option, the special partner option. So, okay, let's see if there's anything else that I want to touch on. We might get to some more questions here. So one other tab that you can look at as well is you can research companies, which can be a really great thing to do. This has got the guide of the 100 best companies for flexible jobs. These are companies that we know have offered flexible jobs throughout the past. So that's definitely something to take a look at. And also, if you ever see these icons as well, we didn't really touch on that much. But these, if you toggle over them, it'll tell you what specific accolades those companies have. So that's an important thing to know as well. And we always encourage as well, since you're coming to FlexJobs looking for work flexibility, if you have not already, definitely check out the 1 Million for Work Flexibility initiative. That's a great initiative that we've partnered with as far as kind of a lobbying support group to encourage work flexibility in more and more industries. So that's another thing to check out as well. So now we're going to get going with the Q&A tab. We have a question real quick. The partner tab is located on the control panel. It's right here. I have a message for that as well. All right, so let's get to some questions and answers here that have come through. Let's see here. We have a question. Can you enter a resume or profile without your name being attached so that the employer doesn't, your employer doesn't know that you are searching?
You can definitely remove your name, address, phone number, email address from your resume heading so that that is not seen. However, if your employer happens to be a FlexJobs featured employer, those employers do have access to the resume profiles. So if they are a featured employer, yes, they would still be able to see your information.
Okay, wonderful. And a question about the skills test. Do skills tests make a difference in finding employment?
Some of our employers actually require, well, they don't require, they recommend that you take the test. And I think it's a good idea because if, say for instance, you're looking for customer service work or administrative work, or even if you're a software developer, taking those tests and getting good scores actually shows the employer where you're at as far as your knowledge of the subject.
Okay, wonderful. We have a question about the search. So, Karen, if someone is putting a keyword search into the search engine into the advanced search, and they're not getting any results, what is another way that they could search? For example, they're searching for project management positions. What would you recommend to search for a project management position?
Sure. I believe one of our job categories is actually project management jobs.
Yep, that is correct.
So it's really good to take a look through those as well and do the search that way.
Perfect. Yeah, keywords can definitely limit the results that you're getting. All of the jobs are categorized into up to 5 matching categories. And so when you use the job categories as opposed to a keyword, you're going to have a more healthy and robust search result. So, for example, that just yielded over 1,000 jobs just by looking at the project management specific category. So, wonderful. We've got a question that I'm going to go ahead and field, which is, do we remove the jobs that are filled? And we do. We clean the database every day. If you ever come across, for example, if you were to look at this position and you go to the link and it's not available any longer, you can use this button to flag this job. And what it will do is this will alert us that you have a broken link, or the employer, if you have questions about the employer, if their site is down, things like that. If you're concerned that you're not able to get to the job listing, we really recommend and encourage our users to use this flag this job. We will respond back and let you know what we're going to do with the link. If it has been expired, we'll take it down and let you know that it's been expired. If the site just happens to be down when you're looking, we can also let you know that. So we can provide feedback on the specific listings. So we really do encourage people to use that to communicate with us. Obviously, we try to get those off the site before you guys find them, but in the off chance that you see something that we have not seen yet, it's definitely helpful to use that, and then we can let you know if the position is gone or if it is still open. So let's see here. I'm looking through really quick on these questions because we have time for about 2 more. We have a question about ageism with the picture. Do we think pictures are necessary? Sheila, do you want to field that one?
Definitely not. It's completely up to you whether that is something that you want to include or not. You certainly can. It does not hurt you at all if you do not include that.
Perfect. Yep, it is absolutely at your discretion what you would like to put in there. So, so definitely do not feel like you need to have a picture if you do not want to. Let's see here. here. Looking through. Okay, is there any way to copy the information from one resume profile to another? For example, work experience. So there is not a way to do that. When you create multiple profiles, you do have to re-enter the information. Once again, if you're attaching a resume, obviously you can just attach that resume on the additional profile, but there is not a way to copy and paste the skeleton of the resume profile over to another additional profile. So, all right. Well, we are down to the last minute here. So, one more reminder for everyone: if you have questions, there is a link to contact us here at the bottom. You can click that. We have virtual chat. We also have a phone number that you're welcome to call, or you can send us over an email. And we're glad to help. We also have this great area with some commonly asked questions. So these are definitely some blogs worth checking out if you have general questions about, you know, how to get set up with your account or how to use it as a new member. This is a great area with some quick tips for utilizing the site. Again, we're so thankful that you were able to make it to the webinar with us today. Thank you again, Sheila and Karen, for the great presentation on how to utilize the site best. And thank you, everyone, for attending. We wish you the best of luck in your job search and your careers, and we hope you have a great day.